If Caleb now could talk to Caleb, 2 years ago, however long ago that was, what kind of advice or what kind of game plan would you give him?
It would have been to launch earlier. And everybody says this with any business: launch early, get it out there, test the market. It is the exact opposite of what I did. I spent way too much time building out features, which in the end worked out because I had a nice, robust platform. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
I should have just got it out there way earlier, cared less about all the details. I should have also just bit the bullet and tried to hire somebody to help me from the beginning. And that's a challenge I face right now, is that, coming in BT Pro, I with all of my existing clients, so I have a ton of knowledge of those people, and we're so overall busy that it's hard for me to pass off those clients, especially some of the smaller ones, to somebody else. We have a number of employees now, but there are still some clients that I 100% work on them, just because their needs are far and few between. So they need something, I just go and do it. To my mind, it's faster if I just go and do it. It would take 2 to 3 times longer if I had to pull somebody in, show them how to do it. And if I would have taken that mindset a year ago to try to offset, or 2 years ago, I guess, to try to get some of my load off, where I could have focused on maybe building or expanding our sales pipeline or whatever. I wish I could have done that. In the end, I have no regrets.
Yeah, sure.
But it's something that we're trying to fix now too. It's just, how do we make it so that I'm not such a bottleneck, having all of these clients still come directly to me, and having so much domain knowledge over to some of the other ones that need to be able to do this stuff without me. And they can, but sometimes I find myself fielding the requests right from the beginning, where I should really say, okay, I'm going to pass it off to one of these guys and have them do it, just so I'm not the bottleneck there.
Yeah, that's very hard for me. And I think any engineer specifically, to hand a project off, or just the business owner who is trying to scale, the fire's never good enough, that kind of thing. Like, it's difficult. And so I can definitely empathize with you there. Go ahead.
Well, I give a lot of credit to Matt. The reason I couldn't hire somebody 2 years ago was because I've never hired anybody before. I don't know how to hire somebody. I know how to do it mechanically, but I don't know how to be their boss and onboard them and give them a good experience. At least I didn't know how to do that back then.
Yeah.
And partnering up with Matt, who had done that dozens, 100 times, whatever, at Sweetwater, he was able to really give good experience once they came on board.
Mm-hmm. So has this experience and what you've learned kind of shaped your approach now to business decisions? Like, what has changed there?
Well, I think I really value now having another person. Matt and I are 50-50 in the company, so having another person like that. Whereas before, it was, most of the decisions for the direction of Time Clock Now and trying to do that mostly development-wise by myself. But I value having another person who has just as much stake in it as I do. And you think, if you're doing something by yourself, my thought was, okay, I don't want to give up 50% of the value. Like, that could be a ton of money. But I think you may get 10 times as large with other people involved. So it really doesn't work out always by yourself. Now today, with some of the AI capability, where you're kind of expanding virtually, it's opening doors for a lot of more solopreneurs. We've seen that all over the internet. We'll see how that goes. I think there's still a lot of merit to having somebody else involved. The overall idea of delegating things. And I will also say that it's a whole different world of numbers to me. So a few years ago, just having the volume of work that we have now would have been crazy.
Yeah.
And like the numbers that we're dealing with, from what we bill clients per month or whatever. That was an unrealistic number for me. But now, having 10, 11 people, you can do the math of how much we have to pay out for salaries. And that number is like an everyday thing now. So that's I'm still kind of getting used to, is these big numbers, just an everyday occurrence. It's very interesting. Obviously, the more people you have in the company, the more expense you have.
Yeah.
So, you scale as well. But tough.
Yeah. So 10 to 11 people means probably close to 10 or 11 the volume. At least how much you're billing out and how much is getting done. So I could imagine it's quite the awakening there.
Yeah. And as a company, we're on both client work, as we call it, and product work. So to create the next time clock now scenario where we build a product and we either run it and onboard customers to it, or maybe one day we'll build a product and it gets acquired. So, our people are dedicated to client work, which is billable. We charge by the hour or by the project or whatever it is. And that is a lot of the work for product development.
Which, let's get into that. Let's talk about how BT Pro started. So from just doing client work and building time clock now to where you are now, give me like events that happened.
Sure. Yeah, so the time clock now acquisition, so this is obviously going to free up my schedule a little bit more once that was all done. I, meantime, kept acquiring more client work than I could handle myself. And I could handle what I was doing right there at the time, but the clients wanted to do more.
Right. So this is the same amount of clients, just more work they want done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never a shortage of clients. Had to turn down some things once in a while. It's hard to say no, but it did happen sometimes. But Matt and I did when he had to step back to water and we're going to do something ourselves. The clients that I was bringing on, which I will say Matt actually supplied me with a few clients back in 2019. So he gave me some of those. I handled for 5 years, and now we're back working with them together.
Yeah.
That's a circle. We went to some of those clients and said, okay, we're a new company. We're trying to figure out how much we need to scale. Like if we said, give you more developers, how much work could you actually give us and for how long?
Yeah.
That initial scale level, some of our clients said, yeah, we can support 2 developers for 2 years worth of stuff. And so just kind of add together, how many people do we need to hire on day one? And so we did that. Eventually we get more and more leads, more clients. And it certainly scaling is hard from the standpoint of when do you hire somebody? When do you hire somebody new, or when do you say no to a customer or client? When do you just say, we can do it, but maybe in 3 months? It's a really, really thing that we've found. So continuing to go through that process. We just had some more leads this week, some potential client meetings. And if we said yes to all these projects that are in the pipeline right now, I don't know how we would actually get them done.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, on it right now is a developer. We have 2 non-developer people. And then Matt and myself do development still, but Matt and myself still do a lot of focusing on business.
Yeah.
So spent there not actually doing development work.
Yeah. So main worry in the business right now?
I would say it's path, or this thing you have to make right now is how do you scale? Because we want to build products, but there's also this big book of client work that we just said yes to all of it. It's going to take people and time away from our long-term goal of building the product.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is we just don't do enough product development fast enough. The other worry, I would say, goes hand in hand with that. With AI now, it's your new products launch every day that have these big feature sets and just kind of doing some of the things that we want to build into our products. And so it's if we don't build our products now and get them launched now, how many other platforms are going to steal the idea or just come up with the same ideas and be first to market, be the market before us? And so that's a worry. We've had a couple small product ideas that kind of got shelved or replaced just by how fast the market is moving. That we had an idea here, but all of a sudden, a few weeks later, that feature is already built into half a dozen other products. Just being able to pivot quickly into other things and not being super stuck on a specific product probably will fix that.
So with many priorities to focus on, what is your current process for trying to figure out what to focus on?
Mine personally, like I mentioned before, I still have too many clients that I'm the person doing the work. So right now there's an active effort to try to move me off of that and to get me focused more on product development. Mm-hmm. We great guys, developers here who can take over some of that work. So I'm not worried about that part. It's just the act of actually doing it and time in the week to that. So yeah, that's be a major goal over the next couple of weeks, is just to have more hours of my time in the week doing product development, whatever that ends up looking like. That is what has to happen if we want to launch any of these things.